You've probably watched a ton of Peppa Pig episodes by now. But have you ever noticed how many unanswered questions remain in the show, even after all these years? One question that remains unanswered to this day is, who is Susie Sheep's dad, and where is he? Since Peppa Pig focuses so much on children and their families, we often get to meet the parents of almost all of Peppa's friends. We've been introduced to the rabbit family, the elephant family, and many more. That's why it's so strange that we've never met one of the most significant members of Susie's family, her dad. We know her mom, her cousin, and even her grandma, but Susie's father has never appeared. This naturally makes us wonder. It'd be understandable if Susie were a background character like Candy Cat, who only shows up in a handful of episodes. But she's Peppa's best friend and appears in most of the show. Some fan theories suggest that Susie's dad might work far away, perhaps in the Navy, like Grandpa Pig did in the past. But since he's never even been mentioned, the truth might be much darker. Could Susie's parents be divorced? Or even sadder, could her father have passed away? There are hints that the absence of a father figure may be affecting Susie's life. Her mom might not have much time to care for her alone, which could explain why Susie almost always hangs out at Peppa's house, even when the Pig family goes on vacation. Additionally, the Pig family computer even has a login with letters resembling Susie's initials. It's almost as if Susie spends so much time at Peppa's house that she has her own computer account there. Could this mean her mom relies on the Pig family to look after her because she's too busy? But does any of this connect to Susie's mysterious father? Until the show decides to address it, we'll never know for sure. This is just one of the 7 unanswered questions in Peppa Pig we're covering today. So get ready, because another episode of Cinewave is starting now. Another mystery that keeps fans scratching their heads is about the names of Peppa Pig's adult characters. Take Peppa's parents, for example. They're simply called Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig. This trend continues for most of the adult characters, who are addressed by a title followed by their species name. While this is already confusing, it becomes even weirder when we focus on Daddy Pig. You'll see why in a moment. Fans can't stop asking, what are their real names? After all, their actual names can't be Daddy or Mr., right? In one episode, we even see flashbacks of the adults as children. Obviously, they weren't being called Daddy or Mummy Pig back then, right? The mystery deepens with Daddy Pig. It makes sense for the kids and neighbors to call him that because his defining characteristic is being a dad. But he's also called Daddy Pig when receiving work calls, even though he's a highly respected architect. And the most bizarre detail? In the Valentine's Day episode, Mummy Pig receives a card from Daddy Pig signed Snufflekins. So does this mean Daddy Pig's real name is Snufflekins? Maybe, but there's a catch. If that's his real name, why does everyone still call him Daddy Pig? Could it be that in Peppa's world, calling someone by their real name is an intimate gesture reserved only for close family members? And let's face it, Snufflekins is a pretty odd name. Could it simply be a pet name for Mummy Pig? After all, his passport apparently lists his name as Daddy Pig, which makes no sense at all. Adding to the confusion, some characters, like Aunt Dottie and King Alfonso, use actual names. Why are they exceptions? Seriously, what's the deal with names and titles in Peppa Pig's world? Every time we watch an episode of Peppa Pig, we can count on 2 things. The characters will probably laugh at some point, and we'll definitely hear the voice of the mysterious narrator explaining what's going on. But here's the thing. Who is the narrator? Is he just a voice, or could he be a character in the show's universe? Unlike typical narrators, he doesn't describe everything. He only speaks during specific scenes, almost as if he's a person with a personality, chiming in when he feels it's necessary. Most of what he says is super obvious. But since Peppa Pig is aimed at very young children, he's just making sure everyone understands. Still, his behavior feels too unique for an ordinary narrator, sparking theories that he might actually be a part of the show's world. Some fans even speculate that the narrator could be Miss Rabbit. She already has countless jobs, including being a producer and director of TV shows. In one episode, she films a show starring the Pig family, which is essentially Peppa Pig itself. Could this mean the entire series is a show within its own universe, created and directed by Miss Rabbit? Or maybe she just films the episodes while the narrator is a separate person she hired, since their voices are different. Then again, maybe the narrator isn't a person at all, but some sort of omniscient cosmic entity. This is another question with no clear answer, just lots of theories. What do you think the truth is? Want the show to finally answer this question? Comment below with #answers. One of the most surprising recent events in Peppa Pig was the introduction of Aunt Dottie, Peppa's aunt who had never appeared on screen before. Until the Thanksgiving episode, she had only been mentioned in passing because she lives abroad. And it wasn't just us seeing her for the first time, Peppa and George also met her in person in this episode. Peppa had only seen her as a baby and didn't remember her, while George had never met Dottie at all. This means that Mummy Pig's sister hadn't visited England in years. But why? It's hard to imagine what could cause someone to lose contact with their family for so long. Maybe during her last visit, Aunt Dottie had a big argument with Mummy Pig or another family member, which left her feeling hurt and unwilling to return. Until recently, when the conflict was finally resolved. A darker theory suggests that Aunt Dottie might be a criminal wanted in England, living abroad to avoid arrest. She may only return when she's absolutely certain she won't be caught by the police. Wouldn't it be a shocking twist if Peppa discovered this in a future episode? Especially since Dottie seems so sweet. But such a revelation would explain her scarce presence in the show. Or could there be another explanation entirely? Let's hope the series eventually reveals the truth. In Peppa Pig, the world is already pretty fantastical. After all, nearly all the characters are anthropomorphic animals. But one element stands out as particularly unusual, even in this world: Super Potato. We don't even need to mention how bizarre it is that he's a giant vegetable acting like a human. Sure, other characters like Mr. Potato and the various vegetable actors also share this trait, but Super Potato is unique because he has superpowers. He can fly, has superhuman strength, and performs other feats reminiscent of Superman. But how is that even possible? One theory is that Super Potato might be an alien, but if that's true, wouldn't that make Mr. Potato an alien too? Since they look so similar, but Mr. Potato doesn't have powers, this seems unlikely. Many fans of Peppa Pig believe his supernatural abilities come from scientific experiments, which makes sense. But who could have conducted these experiments? Could it have been Miss Rabbit? Maybe she altered one of her actor's genes so she wouldn't have to spend money on equipment or special effects. After all, Super Potato can fly without the need for wires. While we don't yet know the answer to this mystery, why not hit that subscribe button? That way, we'll tell you the truth about Super Potato as soon as it's revealed. Plus, you'll get daily videos about your favorite cartoons. Some relatives who should be very important to certain characters never make an appearance, and this is especially true for Daddy Pig's parents. To give you an idea, they've never been seen, nor have they ever been mentioned, as if the topic is completely off limits in the Pig family. In another video, we speculated on the possibility that they might be in prison, but many people believe that one of them passed away due to illness, which then left their partner so heartbroken that they also became ill and passed away. Tragic, isn't it? Only something as terrible as that could explain why they've never been brought up. It might be a subject that brings up painful memories for Daddy Pig and his brother, but is that the truth? Or could there be another reason behind the absence of Daddy Pig's parents? Could Daddy Pig and his brother have been raised in an orphanage and never learned who their parents were? Elephants are known for being smart, but Edmund takes it to a whole new level. Even though he's the same age as George, he's far more intelligent than most adults, even when compared to his own elephant family. But where does all this brilliance come from? One possibility is that he's simply a child prodigy. It's also possible that, as the son of a doctor, Edmund received an excellent education that has already stimulated his intelligence far beyond his years. This brings up another question. If he's already this brilliant as a young child, what will Edmund be like when he grows up? All signs point to him becoming a great scientist, capable of inventing incredible machines and curing various diseases. Let's just hope he doesn't decide to use his genius for evil. Many brilliant minds struggle with understanding the difference between right and wrong. Can you imagine if Edmund became a criminal mastermind? That's all for now, but if you want to keep having fun, just click on one of these two videos we've left on your screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!